Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. We are on an hour early. I apologize, but I have a life too. And
I
we're actually,
apologize too. Fuck it. I'll
yeah,
apologize.
I sent a few of my friends a video, and I'm not going to play the video here
Please
because
don't.
yeah, it's not like something that I share with anyone, but why were they clapping?
I have no idea. They were they were waiting for you to finish. Don't worry, I know all the jokes, man.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like
He's done.
next.
He's over. He can
Yeah.
go fuck himself.
Everybody in the audience. Yeah, I was singing karaoke last night. It was like in front of 125 people. It's the largest group of people I ever sang in front of, and they didn't throw anything at me.
Apparently not by the camera angle you showed anyway.
Well, I mean, you'd have seen a head of cabbage go by me if that had happened. But yeah,
They're
that
like
was
the Blues Brothers when they were the good old boys with the chicken wire, and the beer bottles flying at them.
yeah. So Rox and I are going to go out to another place to sing tonight. We're pressing our luck, and this is a much older crowd. There are people 80 and over.
They look very spry in the crowd that you showed. So
No, well, this is Florida, man. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it
got to
is
remember,
Florida.
you can't go out and start, singing songs that are current songs because I don't know that one.
Yeah, you're not really gonna spit some bars either, unless Rocks can do that. I don't know.
No, she can sing anything. Me, I'm really kind of stuck within real boundaries, if it's outside of one octave,
Can she do Bad Bunny?
Were you asking me? That is inappropriate. I don't think she wants to do Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
All right.
There you go.
So let's get on to the show, shall we?
Make it stop.
I want to just deal with a simple question that's on the table, and it's only a question that media has created. But the needs of the Cleveland Browns for next year, everybody knows. We're in the midst of interviewing potential defensive coordinators. There is one name that has risen to the top. We will talk about that in just a few moments. But the question that is being asked is, what do we need to do to get Mendoza? And I don't, and that's foolishness. I mean, what is wrong with going into the season with Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel?
Absolutely nothing.
There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And you have a whole new offensive scheme that's going to be put into place because the one that Kevin Stefanski had didn't work for any of them. I mean, and if you want to say that all three of those quarterbacks suck, even though one of them threw for over 4,000 yards on more than one occasion.
Well, I think he actually had a winning record, but be that as it may.
Yeah. I mean, it's beyond just that. There is more.
There's more.
There's more reasoning here. One of these quarterbacks might have a better opportunity in the offense that's going to be established by Todd Monken. And he needs to get a look at people. And for those people who can't stand Shedeur, and there's a number of them, he basically did not give his stamp of approval saying that's going to be my starting quarterback next year, nor should he. At this point, he has a lot of analyzing that he has to do. And there is no set answer for this. You're going to learn when quarterbacks get an equal opportunity in the preseason and in practices, who picks up this stuff and who doesn't.
Correct.
I mean,
I trust Monken's judgment better than I would ever trust Stefanski's judgment.
At this point, we have to. But Stefanski had, he had a belief that Dylan Gabriel was the guy, and I want to see what Dylan Gabriel looks like in a completely different offensive scheme. And because I don't want to just write people off. I don't want to write off Shedeur, and I don't want to write off Deshaun Watson either. I want everyone to have an equal opportunity, which is not what happened under Stefanski's watch. They start out with a 41-year-old guy, and then
Yeah,
they trade him to a division foe, and then he just puts Dylan Gabriel there, and
yeah.
that was that.
Unprepared. He was unprepared, Gabriel. To
I
be
think
fair,
all of them
they
were
were all.
kind of unprepared, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But let's see what they look like. If Dylan Gabriel comes out in a new scheme with Todd Monken and goes, "Hey, I can't see over everybody,"
If
and
he comes out blazing with four TDs in his first preseason game, then I'll eat my words. But I kind of doubt that.
absolutely. I mean, nobody looked good on a team that had no offensive line. And you can go ahead and just go back to the Super Bowl and see what it is when your team
Oh,
doesn't have
yeah.
an offensive line.
We're
Uh,
never going to talk about that again.
well, no, but I mean the
That's
reality
terrible.
is who was going to look good
Yeah.
in Stefanski's situation and the organization's insistence on maintaining an offensive line of people that were clearly physically drained.
Can you do me a favor and full screen you and mini screen the moose?
I could do that.
I
Let
got
me.
a window open.
Oh, let me see. Let me
Nobody wants to see.
see.
Everyone's seen the moose icon before anyway.
Why is this not coming up at? Oh, there we go. I think we can go like
There
that.
we go. That's better.
Wait, where are you though?
I'm still here.
Yeah, but you're not even on the screen.
Well, that's I don't care. But people know I'm here
How
anyway.
about this? There.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey,
All right.
we're there.
Yeah. So I want everybody to get an equal opportunity so that uneducated, stupid, dirty, filthy, never hop into the shower kind of people who are just
Stop talking about me like that.
yeah,
I'm a
or,
moose.
or who are just prejudiced against one or the other or all three or
I'm probably like in the all three category, really, to be
it's
honest.
it's like you have a whole new judgment to be based on, which is the actual offense that we will be running in this following season and hopefully in seasons to come. And you can come to the conclusions you want. To come to a conclusion now makes no sense whatsoever.
Oh
So
God,
I just
it's
want to ask.
fucking February, you know.
Well, I just don't understand the people who are, and even the media people who are insisting on trying to guess the guy. It's like you don't even know what Deshaun Watson can or cannot do post multiple surgeries. You don't have the foggiest notion what growth mentally and behaviorally that Shedeur has, and you
Yeah.
you have no idea the tenacity of Dylan Gabriel's nose in the playbook and whether that would lead him to something better than what we saw last year.
Okay,
So,
I got a question for you
yep.
guys or whoever's listening out there. This time of year, middle of February, like February 13th, 14th, is the facility always open? Like if somebody wanted to go in and hit the weights or do whatever, can they show up and train like this time of year or is there a reason why they can't, in the agreement?
Yeah, you see, that gets into legalities. I mean, I think they get in more trouble if they're doing something outside of the auspices of the ownership. I mean, if they don't go to
Yeah,
a
so there's no
team doctor,
liability. Yeah, there's no yeah, there's a liability issue going on with that.
that would be my belief.
There's no reason why they couldn't get together and watch film, though, I would have thought. But
No,
anyway,
no, I mean, again, there's always like wherever people who are on the Cleveland Browns go in the cold season, and you can bet that they have their group of people that they're working out with,
yeah,
and some team members are going with those people.
correct. Like somewhere in Orlando or wherever, you know.
I can guarantee you Deshaun Watson is working with former teammates, whether they were former Browns teammates or Texans teammates, and Shedeur the same, and Dylan Gabriel is probably with
Yeah,
Kevin Stefanski's people.
that's always shrouded in mystery is the point I'm kind of trying to make here. So,
But
you don't know what you're doing.
every year we hear from people who are the announcers and all saying, well, he's been working with so and so and so and so and so and so in the off season. So, but that has to be sanctioned. I mean, the NFL is just so
a $1 trillion industry, not just
and
industry.
they're not just going to let go of their assets to do whatever the hell they feel like doing.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. And here's the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I was just thumbing through ESPN online, and it's really interesting when you look at their evaluation of the AFC North. And I'm just going to read this to you so that we start with the Ravens. Baltimore needs to get a new deal done with Lamar Jackson to lower its $74.5 million salary cap number, right? And they got to create between 25 million and 30 million in cap space. So there is no doubt that Lamar will be back, that Lamar will be playing with them, and he doesn't even fucking scare me, to be very honest with you. His best days are behind him, and they have to start all over with a new scheme. And if it relies on him throwing the football, I don't think that he's proven that he can do that. And if they want him to throw more, they have to get better wide receivers, and they run the risk of more turnovers, which means Lamar will be in the pocket longer, scrambling, looking for people downfield. He can make more mistakes. He can also get hurt. All right. They have to re-sign Tyler Linderbaum, their center, because he is a Pro Bowl guy.
Iowa or wherever he was from. Yeah.
Only one target that Lamar threw to averaged over 25 yards receiving per game, and that was Zay Flowers.
25.
Yeah. I mean,
25.
Yep.
Damn, I do that up and down my house on the
kind of
stairs.
hard to figure, isn't it? So, so they're going to keep Zay Flowers, of course, but they got to find some people who are just like the Browns do, who actually are.
Flowers is like a mid to upper tier guy. He ain't no star.
He's a big play guy, and
but he's not like a Pro Bowler.
No, he needs to have he needs
another guy to get open more.
Then you look at the Bengals. The Bengals got worse defensively in 2025, if that was possible. Despite making a change at coordinator. All right. Al Golden, he was the guy who was the defensive coordinator.
Sounds like their accountant.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Al Golden. I can save you money. I don't know shit about defense. Cincinnati surrendered big plays at an alarming rate and didn't do a good enough job of helping Joe Burrow and the offense.
Thank you.
So Joe Burrow is now entering his 7th season. Can you believe how they've wasted this guy?
7 years of nonsense.
And the team
championship game.
Well, and not only that, but they're in a 3-year playoff drought. People don't realize that in the prime of this guy's career, it's gone downhill.
Yeah.
And part of it, he's getting hit more because they don't have an offensive line, and they have an idiot for a head coach who has maintained his job.
And their ownership is like idiot third son or third generation bloke too. So
I mean, they're in a position where they have to add defensive playmakers. They've got to develop players that they've already drafted. Those things have not been going well. The ownership of the Bengals is not good. Yeah. So there's that. And quite honestly, the coach isn't going to get any better at what he does.
No.
Then you look at the Browns, hiring Monken as coach to help lift an offense that ranked last in scoring over the past 2 years. Thanks. Kevin. Now the spotlight turns to Andrew Berry to infuse that side of the ball with the talent needed to compete in the AFC North. Now, what I'll say this is that competing with the AFC North is not as daunting as it was 3 to 4 years ago.
Oh God, yeah, it used to
So
be horrendous.
so we got that at least going for us. The Browns stocked with 2 first-round picks and 10 total selections in the 2026 draft, and they'll just have to replace as many as 4 offensive linemen, and that's going to be the challenge in all
That's
of
the
this.
thing the Super Bowl proved, man. You need to have 9 guys on your roster in September that are viable fucking starters on your offensive line. It's like going into the baseball season with a shit bullpen. If you've only got 2 guys in your bullpen that are any good, and that's pretty much what the Browns had on their offensive line, 2 guys who were any good, Teller and Batonio, and then you've got a bunch of shit around them, you're just going to lose. You're guaranteed. And you have to play 19, 17, 18, 19, 20 games to win a fucking Super Bowl. How many lines actually survived that many games? Fucking none.
And to me, this was a season when nobody really could point and say this is definitely going to be the Super Bowl champion.
Yeah,
People
there
were
was
not
no
pointing.
stud teams out there. And I refuse to admit that Seattle, they're not a dynasty stud team.
Look,
Fuck them. They got
all
Sam Darnold.
all the talking heads, none of them said you didn't hear.
Oh, they were all 60-1 shots at the beginning of the year.
Sam Darnold is going to lead them to the Super Bowl. You didn't hear any of that.
No, I mean, they thought the Vikings got rid of him for a good reason as opposed to a bad reason.
But it's what's good about the NFL right now is that it is more wide open, and I think the league has to figure out who they're going to give all the calls to as far as
exactly. They don't know which team to support because they don't know which team's got the charisma and the charm and the marketability.
Yeah, and the other part of the whole thing is that I don't think that anybody can look at one team and say they're going to be the monster team, or for all anyone knows, Sam Darnold could turn into a pumpkin at midnight. I mean, there's
or he could go 14-3 again. I have no fucking idea.
That's right. I mean, and Drake May could be just another.
Has been one shot Super
Bowl
a
one hit wonder. You just don't know that. Then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. The question the Steelers have consistently faced since Ben Roethlisberger retired is now Mike McCarthy's problem. Aaron Rodgers returning appears to be an option, but if the veteran doesn't come back, the Steelers will draft their next signal caller.
And they'll get some idiot draft pick like Kenny Pickett or something like they did in the first round.
Or will they start Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer?
Freddie Mercury.
No, I got a better name for him. Mason Rudolph, the redneck reindeer.
Redneck reindeer.
All right. While developing Will Howard. If Will Howard was worth developing, why is he behind a 42-year-old Rodgers who literally is putting his team in jeopardy?
Will Howard was not that good at Ohio State. So
no. So these decisions. It's stupid to be talking about them right now. The Browns actually have an opportunity not to be a good football team. Don't get me, to be misinterpreted here. Right. I think that they have a chance to go from being a 5-win team to possibly being a 7 or 8 win team, predicated on whether some of these holes are patched player wise and scheme wise.
I think they need to get some, bona fide offensive linemen in free agency, let alone in the draft. They need to bring in like 7 guys on the offensive line and see where they fall. Because as I was saying the other day, I mean, you draft an offensive lineman in the first round, and you don't know if he's going to be fucking Jed Wills or Joe Thomas. You really don't. That position is so hard to draft properly.
And a
And
lot of it has to do, I refuse to to just say that the loss of Callahan didn't really hurt the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the guy who took over for the on the front line failed miserably.
yeah.
And when a guy leaves and you see that much erosion in such a short period of time, and it's not just age, it's technique, it's desire, it's aggressiveness. You have to think that that had something to do with that.
Well, when we had Kyle Shanahan, like, oh, I don't know, 10 years ago or whatever, when we had Peyton Hillis and that lot, we actually had an offense and Alex Mack with Joe Thomas. We had some, a scheme, running backs, and guys that could block. And there's no reason why we can't have that again, unless, Jimmy Haslam says we can't.
Well, and again, we have two young running backs who I think are capable of. We have
Yeah, they
one
stay
guy.
healthy and they're damn good, I think.
Well, I think Dylan Sampson didn't get much of a chance because he needs a little daylight, and and Quinshawn needs to stay healthy, and
Yeah.
he also, like anybody, can't get trapped in the backfield consistently.
Oh,
But
God.
when you have two guys that can beat you different ways, one is an inside runner, Judkins, who does have the ability to break off. He's very, very similar to me as Kareem Hunt, except he doesn't hit women.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, not yet, anyway, as
not
far as we
yet,
know.
yeah.
What
But
about
he's
that other
willing to
guy?
learn.
Willing to learn. Are you homosexual? No, but I'm willing
I'm
to
willing
learn.
to learn.
Well, they send me somewhere.
These are Stripes references, folks, so we don't expect you to be right on the same
If you've
page
been
as
watching
we are.
movies from 46 years ago, you would know that one.
There you
But
go. So Monken is out trying to find Jim Schwartz's replacement. So far, he has interviewed Jonathan Cooley, who is a defensive pass game coordinator for the Panthers, Mike Ruttenberg, who is a defensive pass game coordinator for the Falcons, Charlie Bullen,
those are great names, by the way.
yeah, interim defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. No. Aubrey Pleasant, assistant head coach and defensive pass game coordinator for the Rams. Jason Tarver, who was the Browns linebackers coach, and Ephraim Banda, who is the safeties coach. All right.
That's right, yeah.
But now there is a name that's been added to the list, and that's Corey Undlin. And what's interesting, he's the defensive pass game coordinator for the Houston Texans, which doesn't necessarily mean a hell of a lot in and of itself. But if you take a look at what he has accomplished and where he comes from, it might be a better, deeper dive for this guy. He spent the past 3 seasons with the Texans. And in 2025, the defense that was number 1 in total yards allowed, in a low sense, 277 yards, number 6 in passing yards allowed, number 4 in rushing yards allowed, number 2 in scoring defense, and tied for number 7 in sacks. To be honest, it was the offense that really let the Texans down when push came to shove. It was CJ Stroud and the offensive line that let that team down. But here's the interesting part. Monken is familiar with Undlin after they worked together with the Jaguars for 2 years in 2009 and 2010. Undlin was also part of Jim Schwartz's defensive staff with the Philadelphia Eagles for 4 seasons.
Well, there you go. That sounds like he knows what he's doing now.
2016 to 2019, which means he's familiar with the defensive schemes that Schwartz used so successfully in Cleveland. So, and Undlin also for 4 years was with the Browns from 2005 to 2008 as part of Romeo Crennel's staff. He started then as a defensive quality coach before moving to special teams coach and then defensive backs coach all the way back in the days of Romeo Crennel. So He is the fourth of the 5 external out of the building candidates who have served as a defensive pass game coordinator. So it'll be interesting to see what Monken will do. But the everything that has come from the organization, and I don't mean, and I suppose that would be Mary Kay Cabot, but but I mean that have actually come out of the mouth of the Browns organization itself. Would suggest that they didn't have a problem with the job that Jim Schwartz did. Jim Schwartz had a problem with the Cleveland Browns.
Fair enough. We all have a problem with them, to be honest.
Well, and the Browns didn't feel that he was the best candidate as a defensive coordinator, head coach, to help this team get out of the hole that they're in, offensively. So there's that. So that's something to be there's something to be said, I guess. But again, I'm interested in people who have familiarity as far as the defense. They're not going to bring some guy in who's going to start something brand new. They're going to work, maybe have little different scheming based on the same defensive philosophy. And I believe Undland's going to be the guy who gets the job.
Well, I like the idea of Monken knowing how these people work beforehand, in a situation, from years ago, and maybe they're friends. I like the idea of that because then they already have a rapport. It's not like they're, two strangers, like that situation we had like 8 years ago when we Haslam imposed what's Greg Williams and there was Hugh Jackson and they all hated each other. It'd be nice to have a coaching staff that all got along with everybody.
And you don't have time to fuck with the defensive side of the ball right now. You got so much ground that you have to gain by trying to put together a cohesive, cogent offensive scheme that you're just not going to be like the little Dutch boy and stick your fingers in many different holes in the dike and prevent the flood from taking out the water.
Yeah, I don't put a lot of credence in the old strength of schedule standings, but the Browns have the weakest strength of schedule coming up next year, and obviously that can all flip on its head. When teams that were shit this year get better and teams that were good last year fucking become shit. But we have a chance. We have a window here. If we have a real offensive line that can play October, November, December, I think 8 wins is an expectation, not a hope. You
would hope that I just want the fans to be at least interested halfway through the season.
Yeah, not have 60% of the stadium sold out to the Buffalo or Pittsburgh or whoever it is, that we're playing against. That would be nice.
Here's another thing that and I don't say much. I just kind of let things sink in. But Kevin Stefanski ruined David Njoku.
He did.
And I don't think there's any question that this never-ending desire to have more offensive linemen and blocking tight ends turned a potentially game-breaking tight end into an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You no longer saw Njoku getting down the field. He's been injured. And, if you were forced to become an offensive lineman again and people just taking you out play after play, instead of running patterns, you're expected to stay in and block all the time. And it's beaten his body up. It's over for him.
Well, that's the thing. Here in England, you'd say he's a flair player. You don't give flair players, the dirty work, dirty jobs to do. You let them express themselves and show their talent. You let them be like tight end wide receivers, not tight end defensive, offensive linemen. But that never happened.
This was the guy who would hurdle players after he caught passes, and he was he was a real extra downfield threat for a team that really needed one, and he was converted into something else. And people are saying, well, why did he just say, he had said so many times that Cleveland was his home? Because he's 30 fucking years old,
Yeah,
folks.
he's old. I mean, Jim Brown retired at that age. So
Yeah,
go fuck yourselves, everyone.
yeah.
If you're
Well, I
complaining
mean,
about
it's
that.
the and he sees the writing on the wall. I mean, Harold Fannin Jr., if he stays healthy, looks like a really good pass catching tight end.
Yeah, and he's a flair player too. I hope they leave him alone and let him catch passes. So
And the difference between the two is that Njoku, it was a guy who threw his body around and would leap over people.
yeah.
And when I see Harold Fannin, and he's still got to get better at getting in touch with his quarterback and helping
Yeah,
out the
he's
quarterback when
more
he's in
meat and
trouble.
potatoes than Njoku. Njoku's more flairier than if that's a
But
word.
he's also
Yeah.
got the ability to, Harold Fannin Jr. gets extra yardage after he
Yeah.
catches the ball. And even if he's in traffic, he manages to stumble his way into 2 or 3 or 4 additional yards. And he has the ability in the open field to flash over the middle and get some breakaway. Maybe not to the extent that Njoku could when Njoku was a younger guy, but he is a player. If you're calling him a flair player, he's got more flair in him right now than Njoku does.
Yeah.
And Njoku saw the writing on the wall. He saw that, uh, and it, it's so stupid when fans say, well, fuck him because he doesn't want to be in Cleveland anymore. It's like, you probably don't either, but you're
Yeah,
stuck there and
exactly.
you have no fucking choice. All right. So
And we
shut
fucking
up.
left. So we left Cleveland. So
Well, I mean,
everybody could go fuck themselves.
there's nothing wrong with Cleveland, and there's nothing wrong with an athlete while he's still able to play, to be able to make a choice at
To
where he
play.
wants to
Yeah.
play. This is business, folks, and this maybe a new system would be better for Njoku, but a 30-year-old trying to compete with a 21-year-old who is the top rookie tight end in the league, I don't
Yeah.
think that that's in his best interests. So I don't have anything bad to say about the Chief. He did what he was asked to do, and I think it hurt his career. And I
Yeah.
think Kevin Stefanski has hurt a
He's
lot of
toying.
people's careers
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Good luck to the Chief is mine. Hail to the Chief.
yep. So that's what I have to say about the Browns, but I'm going to tie this into the Cavaliers too.
Okay.
For people to start the nonsense of, well, why would you trade Darius Garland for a 36-year-old man?
Oh,
All right. And
kill
look,
me now. People are really saying that.
yeah. And but here's the thing. They don't owe anything except money. And if somebody else picks up the contract, they don't owe that even to Darius Garland. Darius Garland had an absolute great gig, and he didn't work hard enough.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, he also has developed foot problems that are more than just lingering issues.
Yeah.
The
When it goes to chronic, when you have chronic injuries, that's career-ending shit, man.
And look, the Cavaliers stuck with him, and I think personally they held on to him too long. And they're fortunate as hell to get a solid short term benefit out of a player like James Harden than they do going through another year where this guy Garland gets injured just like that.
Yeah, I mean, they we're at 2/3 of the way through the season, and you know that Harden will play the last third, unless Something really untoward. Yep, that reminds me. Seeing the Super Sam comment on there. You know how I watch these games. I have to
Yeah.
do a little parlay or outright. And I had a 7-legger that nearly came in had I chosen Sam Merrill instead of Jalen Tyson, who did not make a three in the entire game, but
Right.
Sam Merrill got 10 threes. Had I just picked Merrill instead of Tyson, I would have
Well, I
had
mean, it
a
was what
fucking
was
payout.
funny. Did you hear what Donovan Mitchell said after the game?
I have no idea what he
It was
said.
really very interesting. He said they asked him about Sam Merrill. I call Sam Merrill the opossum. That's just what I call him because he has those kind of eyes, you know. And they asked him, so what do you think of the big game that he had? Not that Donovan Mitchell had, but
Yeah,
that
exactly.
yeah, that Sam Merrill had. And uh, his comment was, as he was walking by, he saw the announcing team, Brad Doherty and John Edwards.
John McClain,
John, I'm not sure what.
Yippee Ki I don't know.
Yeah,
John,
uh,
Big
and they were
Fly.
doing their telecast,
Yeah.
and the image that was on the screen of what the Cavaliers needed to do. And the first one was get Sam going, and the word got back to Merrill,
Wow.
and you saw what that lit a fire under that boy's ass.
Well, I thought it was the fact that I stiffed him for Jalen Tyson. That's what. Well, I
Well,
take credit for that happening. So
the
anyway,
uh, the guy didn't hit the rim; it was all net. I mean,
yeah.
every shot that guy threw up, except for the one that he missed, I mean, was just all net, and it was crazy, and it all came in a surge.
Well, the
But
thing that's worth pointing out is that James Harden, I think he had more assists than he actually had points in the game, or at least definitely shots.
he did not shoot the ball very much. That's
Harden,
correct.
I don't think shot at all in the second half. He ended the game with 13 points on you know, minuscule number of shots
Yeah.
and a bunch of free throws.
Yep.
So he's sharing the ball. He's not. People say, "Oh, he's a ball hog," or "Oh, he's this," or "Oh, he's that," or he chokes in the playoffs. Go fuck yourselves, everyone.
Well,
If he was a
again,
ball hog, Mara would not have had, 10 shots at three in that game.
here's the tie-in between David Njoku, who was consistently saying, I love Cleveland. I want to be here.
I love you, Cleveland.
Yeah, I want to be here for the rest of my career and all that. And then all of a sudden, he just comes out and he says, "Hey," he says, I don't want to be here anymore." And fans are all pissed off. He's a turncoat,
Oh God.
But and that's what's being said about James Harden is that look what he's done. He's forced 4 trades off of teams, and I'm like, time out here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a fucking business, and maybe to the sports fans, it's a game to you. Maybe it's something that you want the championship so bad because you don't have there's this emptiness in your life, and you think that would fill the hole,
fill up your relevance to the world,
right? But the reality is, it's a gigantic business, and the players have a right to want to play in meaningful games.
Correct.
And when you give it a shot and you go from one team to another, and then the organization decides to blow the thing up, what are you supposed to do? Stay there when you're 36 years old? Do you think that the smart thing for James Harden to do was just to die with the Clippers?
400 team,
The Clippers are being investigated right now. I don't know how many of the fans are keeping up with things that are not
I have no idea about this.
Well, nobody could figure out. They got rid of James Harden and they got rid of Zubac, and they It's like, why would they get rid of their two best players and then say they're going to bring Darius Garland in? And then it turns out that the guy that they kept, Kawhi Leonard, is being investigated for income revenue. And he came out and basically said, look, the investment that I made, and it was with it's a whole shady thing.
No.
And he says, I lost money on this, and it was at the behest of the organization that I did this.
Oh, God.
So the Clippers, you thought they had sterling problems. They got new problems in Los Angeles with the Clippers. And I feel really bad for Darius Garland if you like him as a human being, because where he's heading is hell.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
The team has just changed directions and is tanking. They just got rid of their best players. And now this on top of it, that the other good player, is the one that is being put into an ugly situation of trying to defend something that went higher than he in the organization.
Oh, that sounds like real scapegoating, like
it really does.
All the way back to the Clintons and the Whitewater scandal,
leak the guy's name to the press, let him experience the bullshit. But the bottom line is that players have rights too. And I never had a problem saying I wanted to leave a management position with a radio station that was owned by a couple of goofs.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you got to do what,
But at that time, there were a lot more radio stations than NFL franchises or NBA franchises. So
thousands. So,
yeah, that's right. So I was going to find a job. It's harder. You don't want to piss anybody off when you're playing in the NBA. So I don't understand. The Clippers are the ones who accepted this deal. They took Garland and we got Harden. Harden worked his ass off from a 6-21 start with the Clippers to get them back into play-in contention. And when he saw what was going on around him and that he was being talked about in trades and that Zubac was, probably, it gets leaked out. If you're on the team, when things aren't quite right. So what's he supposed to do? He goes to management and says, if you're doing this, you send me someplace meaningful, because I am not going to go to Washington, or I'm not going to go to Utah. I'm not going to go to a goddamn team that's 6 years away, if they ever get their shit together, to even competing in this league. Go fuck yourself. That's not gonna happen. So, I think this is business, and they said okay, and they cut the deal because they don't really care. And this is coming from Law Murray, who covers the Clippers for The Athletic. All right. Clippers president Lawrence Frank said that the Clippers will change Garland's injury designation to reflect that the right foot toe sprain that has kept him out for nearly 4 weeks has healed, while Garland's still sore, surgically repaired left toe will keep him out indefinitely.
Yeah, he ain't going to play this year.
Indefinitely. So are you telling me that that's a good deal for the Clippers? And you blame James Harden for just wanting to get the fuck out of there? Come on. This is a goddamn business. He's 36 years old. He wants another opportunity. Now, you can sit there and say, well, he's had opportunities and he's played badly in the playoffs and the series that mattered.
I addressed that the other day, so I'm not going to repeat myself. You're trying to pull a whole team with you, and you know that you're going to hit a juggernaut in the next round. Stop.
Yep. And and people who said that the trade was crazy because the Cavaliers gave up a 26-year-old guy for a 36-year-old guy are changing their minds very quickly about this trade. And it is a great trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And let's see, Tony's putting something in here.
No, we don't want George Pickens.
Yeah.
Not for a second round pick. If they want to give us a fifth round, give them a fifth round pick, maybe.
No, the fact is, everywhere Pickens has been, Pickens,
he's a fucking cancer.
Head case, and you don't want that, especially in a situation where you're trying to break in a new system and you're trying to get confidence amongst your offensive team.
I'll tell you what, I'd trade a second round pick for Justin Jefferson, though. I'd do that deal.
Yeah.
You think of that money.
In a heartbeat. I'd run to the phones for that one.
Yeah, I would definitely run and I think he's out of Minnesota. I don't think Jefferson sticks around this year. But anyway.
Yeah, so and this is what else the Clippers president Lawrence Frank said. We're going to manage this correctly, okay? Yeah. We're not going to skip any steps because we think the short-term investment will lead to long-term rewards. We're going to get it right, and as long as it takes, but we're very confident by taking the time now, it's going to give him a long runway. He's only 26, and we want to see him playing at a high level for a long time. And we wanted that in Cleveland too. But the guy doesn't fucking work out in the offseason. He's always injured. He never builds up the strength in his arms and his legs. Harden, compared to Darius Garland.
God, he's a fucking man.
Oh, Jesus, you got to be like that. You got to be a tank to play in the NBA today.
He's like the same. He looks like the same height and weight as Myles Garrett. He could very well be similarly built to Garrett.
He's just big and strong, and and he doesn't have the verticality. James Harden doesn't have the verticality,
but need it.
Well, he has a lot up here, a lot of experience, but he does. And if you watch the last game, the alley-oop lob that he threw to Jared Allen.
Oh, that was inhumane. That was.
But he accelerated over the midcourt line, and he turned up the Jets. He utilizes what he has spontaneously in a way that keeps the other team off balance.
Yeah, if he's playing at a speed that's like 80%, and then he can show that extra 20% when he needs it, then that's like a car racer turning up the boost when he has to pass somebody. That makes perfect sense. That does.
Now, you've got, Donald Sterling was chased out of there, and this was supposed to be the great new time for the Clippers, and they brought in a group of players, and it never manifested itself.
Garland, the New York Mets are the fucking NBA, aren't they? They really are.
They've the secondary franchise in Los Angeles, and that's the shadow that they're in. Garland hasn't played since January 14th, so I mean. Tick tock. If you take a look at
insurance money, if Garland's out for the year, I mean, could that be part of the deal there that the Clippers get some reimbursement off of his contract if he's out?
No, I mean, Garland's is a fully guaranteed contract. They can't do anything except pay it to him. They made the deal. He's this year $39 million, next year $42 million, and the year after that $44 million.
He ain't worth anywhere near that sort of money.
But you see, when you're part of the a core four, which with the Cavaliers were hoping would be the case, which turned out not to be the case.
It's more like a core one at the moment.
And the fact is, the Cavaliers had the same medical reports as the Clippers did, and they saw that there is no future when the owner of a team puts as much money into his team that Dan Gilbert has into the Cavaliers, and you tell Jared Allen that he better go out and play his ass off because he's next.
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert isn't going to put up with this bullshit. And what you're finding now is who is rising and who is falling, and it's interesting. Right now, for the Cavaliers, CPJ looks lost. All right,
Yeah, the no.
offensively, he's a hustler, he's a rebounder, but he looks lost offensively and afraid to shoot the
Yeah,
basketball.
he ain't gonna get minutes, in meaningful games, the way he's looking.
And you've got James Harden, who's really feeding the ball to pick and roll Jared Allen. Jared Allen is scoring more points, so people are willing to forgive him for now, but we're giving up way too many offensive rebounds
Oh god.
still with him on the floor. So his problem, I mean, yes, he can hit 5-foot shots, but the real issue is, can he keep people off the glass? Because what we're going to see in the second half of the season is two very quick games against the Detroit Pistons, and we'll see. Assuming that I think Duran will be back. And I think
Oh
for one
yeah,
of the
he's
games,
suspended, isn't he?
Beef Stewart will be back for the second of the two games. We're going to
Oh,
see, and we play the Knicks as well. And Mitchell Robinson, is he just going to fold like the old Jared Allen? I mean, that's that issue. But right now, he's scoring more points because Harden is looking for him in the pick and roll.
well,
And
the other thing is that teams have to defend now, Mitchell and Harden or Merrill and Harden, and they have to come out and they're opening up that backdoor slot for our number 5, whether it be Jared Allen or if Evan Mobley ever recovers from his calf sprain. But
the
you know,
rel-
you know,
the
and then you have
reliance.
to guard Garland is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, well, the reliance on Jalen Tyson as being a tertiary scorer has gone away. So,
Yeah, he did nothing the other day. He had like
well,
5 points.
he didn't have the ball, and he
Yeah.
wasn't flashing behind the 3-point line because the team is now looking on pick and rolls to go backdoor and feeding big men, and you have Harden handling the ball. You have Mitchell. Mitchell will throw up threes. You have Sam Merrill, who threw up threes and just didn't miss any in that game.
Yeah.
And it's more difficult to get used to new teammates. I will say this. I think when you're playing with a guy like Donovan Mitchell, you may be, how would I put it, stargazing, because what that guy can do offensively is insane. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is, if he's not the best offensive player in the NBA, he's damn close to it.
Yeah, he's got flair out the ass. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
there's a flair player, then that is
creative,
Donovan Mitchell.
creative, getting his shot off. I mean, and making those shots when it matters. He has a very good track record of that. And you have a guy like Harden, who is known to have assisted a lot of players, but also is not afraid to put the ball up in the big moment. So you have a young guy who looks at Donovan Mitchell as, Jalen Tyson is kind of buddied up, and Mitchell has taken him under his wing because he sees the guy's got drive and desire, something that he never did with Darius Garland because Darius Garland had no drive. Okay.
Yeah.
So that you understand, a guy like Donovan Mitchell sees a hungry young guy and he relates to that because he was a hungry young guy at one time. But now we're suddenly cast into win now. The organization has just said, you remember Darius Garland? He gone.
Ego.
I mean, and everybody is getting used to a new role. You saw that Sam Merrill coming off a bruised hand, he was doing nothing. Then all of a sudden, they found ways of using him by running him through screens, and he got shots off. Those first few that he made, and you could just see it in his opossum eyes that he looked like an assassin out there.
He looked like a decent Kyle Korver when Kyle Korver was young out there. That's
Yeah.
what he looked like out there.
And a quick release and accurate. And Jalen Tyson will get over this because the organization is very high on Jalen Tyson, but he's trying to figure out where he fits in the lineups that he's on the floor with. And some of the lineups that he's out on the floor with, that second unit, it can be a little bit weird. They're trying to balance having Harden or Mitchell out on the floor. They're starting and they're finishing, but in the middle, that big middle section, you'll have lineups where God only knows you have
Oh, there was like a lineup with Mitchell and for
yeah,
the
Naquan and
bench. There's like
and
4 bench
Schroeder.
guys.
And Schroeder rhymes with shooter, but he's not one. Okay, he can hit a wide open, unpressured three, but Schroeder is not a guy who is going to burn you points wise if you're the defense. But you have Naquan and him on the floor. You've got uh, uh, Bryant, Thomas Bryant on the floor,
Bryant,
who
yeah.
shoots threes but does very little else than that. And it's not a group of fast guys either. So they're getting outrun. That unit was
Yeah,
getting,
we getting burned on the offensive rebounds, like something crazy. I mean,
and just in the
Koulibaly, the other guy, yeah.
transition game too. Yeah. So again, there are some people who just have to find their footing. I have no worries about Jalen Tyson. He's going to find his footing of where he fits in. And in the end, I saw the way that Jalen Tyson looked at James Harden, and it was like starstruck. It's like I think it's dawned on him that he's playing uh, on a team that has a lot of star power now, and he's like, "Wow, the bright lights are going on. The Cavaliers have been winning games. They've moved up in
I
the
think they're the
standings."
hottest team in at least the conference, if
And
not
they had
the
this hot
league.
streak before a rest period. We'll see how they come out with an 8-day rest period. It'll be interesting. Their schedule is not going to be an easy one, and they have a little bit of time. I think 27 games, if I'm correct, that they have left to play,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
they're 2/3 of the way through. They played 55. They're 9-1 out of their last 10.
yep. And to be honest, I don't think unless the wheels come off of the Pistons, I don't think they're going to lose that top spot at this point.
Well, I think the wheels will come off of the Pistons
In the
because
playoffs, I think they
yeah,
will.
I think they will. I mean, I could see the Celtics or the Knicks or maybe even the Cavs passing them in the regular season. It
Yeah.
could wouldn't surprise me.
Well, the Celtics, the fact that they've been doing all of this without Tatum is really impressive.
Yeah.
Really impressive. So, that's a well coached, well oiled machine. And the New York Knicks, we know what they are. I'm interested when we play the Knicks, because they know that Jared Allen will shit himself if he sees Mitchell Robinson. What
Correct.
what I'm interested in seeing is how we try to take Jalen Brunson out of the game, and whether Keon Ellis is going to get his shots in, and we're going to take a multiplayer approach in
Just tire the
stopping
fucker out. Yeah.
that player,
Yeah.
and it might be something crazy like Dean Wade if he ever gets healthy, um, using length against that fadeaway of Brunson and
Yeah.
wearing Brunson down, because again, he saves the Knicks bacon. That's what he does for a living. And if you, in the long run, it's not Mitchell Robinson, it's, the second and third shots leave wide open looks for the other Knicks players. And I'm trying to think of the 3-point shooters who are actually, for the Knicks, who are actually benefiting. Uh, there's I'm blanking on this team, but they're throwing in threes off of offensive rebounds. But in the end, when the game matters, it slows way down, and it's
Yeah.
Brunson who controls the whole flow of the game. much like Donovan Mitchell used to with the Cavaliers.
Well, they got Josh Hart and Miles McBride and Jordan Clarkson and OG Ananobi and Mikal Bridges and
Bridges can hurt you, but it's the other guy.
Shamit.
Shamit is a guy who has been lighting it up from behind, that corner three. He has been lighting it up, and they're all coming off of offensive rebounds. It's not just the Cavs who have trouble keeping the Knicks off the boards. Let's be upfront about that. But we haven't seen yet how Evan Mobley will react to playing with James Harden. We don't know how that's going to all get glued together.
Well, it's a wild first 3 games. I mean, Thursday they play Brooklyn at home, and then Friday they go to Charlotte to play the Hornets. So that's a back-to-back. And then on Sunday they play a day game at Oklahoma City. So if we don't know by next Monday week, what sort of team we got, I think we're definitely going to know one way or the other.
Yeah. And, again, the expectations are one thing, but there's still a lot of patchwork that has to be done and practicing and getting people on the same page. But I think there is more focus right now on the Cavaliers. And,
yep.
And I'm not gonna...
that game next Sunday is so 1:00, the only game going on.
Yeah,
and that's a worldwide game. That's Sky Sports Plus over here. So everybody from here to England to fucking China is going to be watching that game if they're a basketball fan.
I don't point fingers at any one player. What it's going to amount to is you got 27 games left in the season to improve the glue in this lineup. You got to figure out how you're going to utilize these two big men, because it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked at all, because
they can't be on the floor at the same time with the other guys we got now.
Jared Allen seems like a happier camper when he's getting some offensive opportunities. And they told incorrectly Evan Mobley that he would be this unicorn, right? And that he was we're gonna let you shoot from behind the arc. We're gonna let you, develop your own shots. You're gonna, if you practice your hook shots in the middle of games, and there has to be a way to use these players together. And the person who has the hardest job is Kenny Atkinson, quite honestly.
Yeah, because he's going to end up tinkering. He doesn't know who his best team is. He hasn't known it all year. And now he's just going to have to keep experimenting. But we don't need Evan Mobley to be shooting threes when we got a healthy Merrill and a healthy Harden and a healthy Keon Ellis and a healthy Mitchell.
I'm looking long and hard at
I'm
looking long and hard at Keon Ellis and looking at the mechanics of his shot, and they're not as pretty as they could be. The other thing, Keon's a good defensive player.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the alley-oop pass that he broke up.
that was amazing.
That was high off the ground.
That was amazing out of nowhere. He was like alone. That was the only way they were going to stop that play, was if he.
Well, he was kind of looked like he was in no man's land. They threw the lob, and he went up and just batted it.
I've never seen that.
He's athletic and he's tough-minded defensively. The rap on Keon Ellis is that he doesn't have anything besides 3-and-D. He doesn't have a 2-point game. And when they traded for him, one of the things that came out of the mouths of the organization was that we think there's more to this guy, and that there's more opportunities for him to develop some of a mid-range kind of game. I haven't seen it. The threes that he's thrown up, he doesn't look comfortable. He kind of has a sideways slant on the ball. And it looks like there's a little side spin on the ball instead of the rotation that you would prefer off the fingertips. I'm, just looking at this and saying right now, he doesn't look like a primetime guy. Tomlin can't shoot the ball to save. I mean, if he gave him a rifle, he couldn't shoot the ball.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's not his job either. But
that's right.
the game after Oklahoma is then we play the Knicks at home on Tuesday night, next Tuesday week. So
If you have a
it's like
lineup,
big.
if you have a Tomlin in the game at the same time as Keon Ellis, and they're both hounds, man. They're dogs. They're going to go after the ball. They're going to really push defensively. That's a great thing. But you've got to have more than just Donovan Mitchell on the offensive side of the ball. You've got to be able to have balance in both your starting lineups and in your substitutions. And there are fans going, "Why isn't Larry Nance playing?" And it's like,
He played the other night too. I don't know how many. He wasn't that many minutes, but he did show up.
his legs can't hold up, and he can't play defense. He
Exactly.
can't stay with people. And I mean, it's like, come on. The thing is, what makes a guy like Naquan Tomlin interesting and got his 2-year deal is that they've got to get more out of him, and they got to work with him on his shooting and on his offense. But his drive got him this far. And Keon Ellis is much the same way. How do you integrate these players into the greater whole? And I wouldn't want to be Kenny Atkinson because the organization has gone out and got the pieces. It's the coach now who has to assemble the pieces and make it into a lean, mean fighting machine.
Well, such a big week coming up next Thursday. So
yeah, but we'll be there to talk about it. That's for damn sure. The last thing, dummy of the week and dummy of the month. A Slovak fugitive who had been on the run for 16 years was arrested when he came to Milan to support his national ice hockey team at the Winter Olympics. 44 years old. He's been on the lam for 16 years, since he was 28 years old. He was wanted by Italian authorities for a series of thefts committed in 2010. He's managed to avoid them all this time, but he had to see his hockey game and bye-bye.
Wow.
Cart him off to jail. That's what you call a person whose
Grim.
priorities might be a little bit confused. And Chris Paul announced his retirement after 21 seasons. And he looked at the situation and said, "I'm not going to Utah. Prolonging my career at this point, there's no point to it at all. I'm done."
How many seasons has Harden had? About 17, 18?
Yeah, I think 17.
Yeah, so I think he's got 3 more. I think he's got as many seasons in him as Chris Paul had, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, they do become rather weighted down. They don't have the hops. And even LeBron, I mean, you've seen.
Oh, well, we got old. There's old LeBron now. I mean, old LeBron next season would make a great 6th man.
Well, I mean, he's at this point more of a sage advisor and father figure.
Play hard for 10, 15 minutes a game, and then you'd get a decent. You'd get a decent production out of him, I think.
He doesn't need money, but he's not going to sell himself cheap and acknowledge that that's the case. So for people who are holding out of this great return of the Swallows to Capistrano, it's not going to happen. He's not going to just accept chump change to finish his career in Cleveland.
I got a weird idea that he may end up being a player coach somewhere, and I don't think the NBA's ever had a player coach or a player assistant coach that could give him some sort of designation. That would be bizarre, but that would be something I think that would, he'd be interested in.
All right, Moose. Well, I got to get out of here because
get out of here because you started early and you did it for a reason. So
yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate tremendously that you would jump in and join me on this last minute early Boohead radio program.
Well, I think Monday there's going to be fuck all to talk about unless something happens that is unprecedented.
Right. All right, man. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Back again on Monday, and we'll think of something to talk about. So until next time, hasta la vista, pasture heads. Good night.